Hey everyone, it's Carolyn. Welcome to the channel. Today I have another pick a pile reading for you. And so for today's pick a pile reading, we're going to be focusing on shadow work. If you don't know what shadow work is, basically it's looking at your subconscious blockages and seeing what you can do to try and heal them and work through them, where you make those subconscious thoughts become conscious, and then you can have more control over how they're affecting you because now you're aware of them. And so basically it's a way to help heal yourself and work on any issues you have by making yourself aware of them, because you can't heal, you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. And so I have 4 different piles for you to choose from today in order to help you with your shadow work. You can always pick more than one pile, just do what you feel drawn to do. This is a reading for the collective, meaning it's for lots of people, so take what resonates and leave the rest. If you want to get your own personal in-depth reading, I do sell them. You can check out my Etsy shop, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. Everything's going to be linked in the description box down below. And so for your piles, we have the 2 of Swords, Page of Swords, the Moon, and the Knight of Swords. So take a moment, pause the video as you meditate. If you're drawn to angel numbers, I am going to have the timestamps in the description box down below. So go ahead and check out those numbers, see if any of them are resonating for you. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Please hit subscribe. I would love to have you a part of this family, and make sure you turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post my next video. I post multiple videos every week, including more pick-up pile readings like this. I also do collective readings and zodiac readings along with educational videos to help you all along your spiritual journeys. And so with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start off the readings. So those of you who chose the 2 of Swords for your cards, you have the 2 of Swords, you have the 9 of Pentacles reversed, the Magician, the Sun, Strength, and Justice. So I'm going to take a moment to rearrange these cards a bit. So because you were drawn to the pile with the 2 of Swords, this indicates to me that there's a lack of decisions in your life. There's an indecision that really influences you and prevents you from moving forward and prevents you from committing to things, because it's like you're always second guessing yourself. And then to have the 9 of Pentacles reversed, to me indicates there's some level of codependency, some level where you are not doing things for yourself, but instead you are looking to others to do them for you. Because the 9 of Pentacles is typically a very independent energy. It's a self-sufficient energy. And so when it's reversed, indicates to me that that could be lacking from your life, especially when paired with this 2 of Swords. It's almost like subconsciously you do not trust yourself to make any major decision. And it's like, in turn, you're not trusting yourself to make any decision, because if you're not making the big decisions, if you're not trusting yourself to make those decisions, then over time it's going to end up manifesting for the small decisions, because all those small decisions are going to be what adds up. And so it's like you kind of just lose all control in your life. And I think subconsciously, this might not be conscious. You might think that you do make choices in your life, but if you actually were to reflect and look at your subconscious, you would see you have a very hard time when it comes to making decisions. And as a result, it makes you get everyone's opinion. It makes you gather all the information you can and maybe make decisions at the last minute because you don't want to make it. Because this is a subconscious block, so it might not be appearing like you don't make decisions, but it's very difficult for you to make decisions. And so it's creating this sense of codependency, because it's like when you make a decision, you might make it because you're forced to, but you're not making it because you trust yourself. You're not listening to yourself. You're doing it because you feel backed into a corner. And I think it's very hard for you to get the things you want out of life because you don't even know what you want out of life. It's like you are stuck on feeling like you're going to make the wrong choice. And I think where this stems from, you have the Magician and the Sun. I feel like you had people in your life who look like they have everything together, who look like they have things done perfectly. Some of you, I feel like you could have grown up with a golden child in your family, and so they can do no wrong. And because you feel everything you do is going to be a failure, you just thought, you know what, if everyone trusts this person, if everyone thinks this person's life is so great, or I think this person's life is so great, then I'm just going to have other people make my decisions for me, and then I can't let anyone down. And so it almost became like this need to people please, or not have anyone blame you, because it's also like if you go to everyone else for advice and you rely on them, you outsource to them, if something goes wrong, it's not on you. It's almost like you're deflecting by being like, I didn't make this decision, or this wasn't the decision I was going to make. I made it because so-and-so told me to. I made it because everyone told me to. I did it because everyone thought it was worth the risk, and turns out everyone was wrong. So it's not just a me thing. Now no one can come and attack me. Now everyone's at fault. And so it's almost like taking yourself out of blame and making it where you don't have to hold yourself accountable. And it's like you did it because you felt at one point in your life like everyone was being super harsh on you, misunderstanding you, and not letting you have the room to make a mistake without judgment, and not having the room to pick yourself back up. I think you constantly felt like people were fixing your messes. And it's like, you know what? If they're going to fix my messes, then I'm just going to try not to cause any. I think as a result, it's left you with a very heavy energy where it's very hard for you to find confidence in yourself, to find things that you like about yourself, and to truly embrace who you are. I think you have tried to suppress who you are and kind of create this cookie cutter version of yourself where everyone's happy with you, where again there's this codependent energy where it's like you're trying to please everyone, and make it where no one dislikes you. I think you have a need to make everyone like you as a result of this, because you don't do well with failure, you don't do good with rejection, and it really stems from this place of never being able to experience it in a healthy way. And I think that's where you have the strength card, because in order to heal this, you have to, one, understand that it's like just because you fail, just because something doesn't work out, just because you made the wrong choice, doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing. It just means it's not what you wanted, and you're allowed to pick yourself back up again. You don't need everyone to save you. Right now, you feel like you do because it's all that's ever been done. And I know that it's going to seem very intimidating and very daunting to wrap your head around this, but let's say there was no one to rely on right now. Let's say it was truly just you and yourself. If you failed, you would figure a way to pick yourself back up. You have the resilience in you. You just never learned about it. You never became aware of it because you never were able to utilize it. And I don't think it comes from you not wanting to utilize it. I think you were literally put in an environment where you didn't have the opportunity to pick yourself back up and to kind of see that there's no shame in failure and that there's a lesson that can be learned. You kind of learned that I can't be trusted with things. I can't do things correctly. It's like instead of learning from the process, you put everything about this failure onto yourself and let it feed on your insecurities, and let everyone around you, whether they were aware of it or not, they fed into these insecurities. Because either these were people in your life who were putting you down, making you feel even worse about yourself, or you had people in your life who genuinely wanted to help you, but the way that they helped you was subconsciously telling you that you're not good enough, because the way that they would go to help you is say, don't worry about it, I'm going to do it for you. It's like everyone in your life did things for you. Everyone in your life cleaned up your messes and didn't give you the opportunity to learn from it in a way where you can see that it's not that bad to face the consequences sometimes. Sometimes you learn from it. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's not fun, but it doesn't mean that it's bad or shameful. And I also think that this block has created a narrative in your head where you think you can never have this magician and sun qualities in your life. It's like you have these perfect people in your life that you're trying to use to guide your life, but it's like you can't wrap your head around the fact that there's no difference between them and you. Everyone's human. And the difference is that they are learning from their life experiences, that they're choosing to embody these energies, but you're capable of embodying these energies as well. When it comes to your confidence, when it comes to the way that you carry yourself and present yourself, that is something you have control over. That is something that if someone else has that, you can mimic that. You can actually create that for yourself, because that's not something that money has to buy. That's not something that you have to go out and get. That's something you have. You just have to tap into that energy. And some of you like fake it till you make it. If you want to embody that, act like you already have it. Act confident. Act like you have clear decisions on everything you do. Even if on the inside you feel so uncertain, just pretend that you are 100% confident in this decision, and you're going to see that your energy as a whole changes and you start to become confident. Because a lot of the times when it comes to our mindset, we can trick ourselves into feeling different emotions just by convincing ourselves that we already feel that emotion. And so with this Justice card, it's like in order to heal this, it's like one, you have to acknowledge where specifically this stems from. So like what specific instance of failure is when this started to snowball for you, and also who exactly in your life this is that made you feel this way, that you rely on, that you try and have them shape your life. And it's like, I feel like this is the person that you kind of go to either when you're comparing your life to them, or this is someone when you have something you're uncertain about, you go to them before even checking in with yourself. And so you need to pinpoint who it is. And then after you do that, you need to stop yourself from doing that. In order to heal this, you have to become decisive. You have to start taking control of your life. And you're gonna have to do it by becoming decisive, by actually taking control of your life. Because there's this codependent energy here. So it's like, in order to break that, don't let yourself be codependent. And it's going to be difficult. This is not going to be easy. It's definitely going to be a process. And especially because you do have issues when it comes to failing, don't feel like if you give in, you ask someone for their help, or you're shaping your life, comparing it to someone else's, that you fail this process, and then all of a sudden you try and stop healing this wound altogether. Because progress is progress. It doesn't have to be linear. You don't have to do this every single day. You can do this with one question in your life, and then maybe the rest of the week you go back to your old ways. You aren't on track with healing it. Maybe there's too much going on in your life. But then, the next week, maybe 2 things in your life. You keep it to yourself, you make your decisions, and you trust yourself. And it can be small things. You can start with small things to build up this confidence and trust within yourself. It doesn't have to be a major thing. So it doesn't have to be, I'm stuck with this dilemma at work and I don't know what to do. Maybe it simply is, do I want to go out tonight? Do I want to stay inside? Do I want to hang out with this person? Do I not want to hang out with them? Do I want to go on this date? Do I not want to go on this date? It can be anything in your life, but just start trusting yourself. And even if you can't fully break away, where you still want to get second opinions right now, at least check in with yourself first. See what you are instinctively wanting to do about the situation in your life, and then go to people for advice and see if they're able to sway you from what you wanted, or see if they're not, and also compare the reason why. So if someone is able to sway you to do something that you initially didn't want to do, that you instinctively didn't want to do, reflect on what made you concede to their point and see if it's a valid reason. Maybe this person brought up a good point. So for an example, let's say it's a career thing. Maybe the person brought up that with this career, it pays a little bit more, so it's worth some of the other things that come with it. And so you actually thought about it, reflected on it, and was like, you know what, they make a good point. Versus maybe this person didn't bring up a good point. Maybe they just said that they feel like it's better for you. And you're just doing it because they said so, because you think that they have all the answers. That's what you want to watch out for, is when you're doing things mindlessly just because someone else suggested it. Because there's no shame in saying no. There's no shame in trusting yourself and being like, you know what? I understand what you're saying, but this is what I feel like I want to do, and I'm going to give it a try. That's what you need to learn how to do. And so, like I said, this is going to be a process. It's going to take time, but it's about building up your trust with yourself. Also, trust your intuition. Try and build up your intuitive muscles. And you can do this with small things in your life. Again, asking yourself what you want to do. But also, like, you can go online and do intuition tests to help grow your intuition. Because by having a good sense of intuition, that's going to help you connect with what you truly want to do. And in turn, you're going to start to learn to trust yourself. And by trusting yourself, you're going to gain more confidence. And in turn, you're going to create a dynamic that's less codependent, less on the opinions of others, and now more of a life where you're strong, you're resilient, you're doing what you want to do. And you're also trusting the fact that if there's any failure in things, you're going to have the ability to pick yourself back up again. And you're also going to learn from it in a proper way, in a healthy way, in a way that's not shameful, in a way where you don't have to feel guilty for it, and in a way where you're actually able to absorb the lesson and be like, you know what, I'm going to protect myself now going forward. That was something I didn't know, and now I know it. And that's going to create this balance in your life. And so I feel like when it comes to your shadow work, it's really about addressing the ways in your life in which you're not in control, and learning on how to build your confidence and your self-esteem so that you are confident in taking control of your life and you're not passing everything off to everyone else because they know better than you do. Because Spirit's really wanting to point out to you that they don't know better than you do. You think that because you're not embodying this energy, but you're capable of embodying this energy. And so you got to get out of that mindset that it's impossible. It feels impossible because you've never done it before. But if you fake it till you make it, if you start this process, if you continue to try and trust yourself more, slowly but surely, that's going to grow and you're going to end up embodying that energy that you want from them. And so yes, it might be intimidating, but it's not impossible. And if you just become more aware of when you are stepping back into this pattern of indecisiveness, of codependency, and you try and correct it as you become aware of it, you're really going to be able to switch things around and make it where you are back in control of your own life. Because you are worthy and you are smart and you are wise. And so there's no reason to doubt yourself. I understand it comes from your past, but objectively, you are meant to trust yourself. You are going to lead yourself to the right things. And so this sense of doubt is not serving you. It's not doing you any good. And so it is something that you really have to look towards changing and taking the proper steps to become aware of it and actually take back control of your life. And so I hope this resonates for you. If you have any questions, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. Also give this video a big thumbs up and share with others who need to hear it. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Please hit subscribe. I would love to have you a part of this family. And make sure you turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post my next video. I post multiple videos every week, and I'm going to have more videos linked in the cards above for you to watch next. I can't wait to see you all in my next video. I hope you have a good one. Bye. So those of you who chose the Page of Swords for your cards, you have the Page of Swords, King of Swords, the World, Page of Cups, Two of Wands, Nine of Cups, and Two of Cups reversed. So I'm going to take a moment to move these cards around so you can see them a bit better. So the first thing I want to point out for your reading today is that I feel like this shadow that we are working on right now with the shadow work is something that is either going on now in your life or something that was very recent. A lot of the times with shadow work readings, things from our past will show up because a lot of the times our past is what really defines us. But I feel like right now it's like you're in this transformative phase of your life. And so with that, you know, as much growth and self-work that we try and do, our shadow is always going to peek through. And so I feel like for you right now, you're at this period of your life where there's a wound that's occurring and it's like, okay, you need to address it, you need to heal it so that it doesn't affect you later on. Because what I'm sensing for you, it's like because there's so much going on, you are changing and growing, there's rooms for weakness, there's room for vulnerability. And so your spirit guides wanted to make you aware of this so that you can heal it as you're going through it. It's the same way that like if you get a cut, you know, make sure that you're tending to it, making sure that you're cleaning it so that it's not going to grow an infection and it's not going to be something that you can't overcome. Right now, it's like, yes, this wound is recent, but because it's so recent, you're going to have an easier time healing it than if you continue to stifle it and pretend like it's not there. So what I'm sensing, you are this Page of Swords. You could have a lot of air in your chart, so that's Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, or you could just be going through a point in your life in which you are becoming a butterfly, in which you are transforming. The Page of Swords is someone who's observing and listening and seeing all these things in their lives and actually absorbing the information through learning it. It's like you are learning through doing it. You are not learning by just sitting and waiting. It's like you might be reading on things, you might be learning about them, but you are also living the experience. And so I get the sense that for you, it's like you are someone who can be quite logical with things because you are able to like absorb information. You're able to get all these different perspectives and really be objective in certain situations where you see all sides of it. And then you also have this King of Swords energy here. And so this King of Swords energy is someone who is the king. He's the master. He is someone where he's in charge, he's in control, he's calculated, he's logical, he knows where he's going, he has a plan. And I feel like right now you could be going through a time in your life where you had a plan and that plan is ending because of this world here. And I think the reason why this is becoming like a shadow wound for you is not that you are ending this cycle of your life where you're more logical, you're more practical, and you have this clear-cut vision and this plan. It's the fact that right now you are putting an end to this and it scares you. And I think that you in turn are trying to resist this change. I think you don't want to allow yourself to change because it makes you very uncomfortable. And I think the reason it makes you uncomfortable is because you're changing into someone you once were, but you never fully got to be this person for a long time. You never got to fully indulge or express yourself as this version of yourself. And so it's like now you're changing into this version that you have convinced yourself is bad, but you're not becoming this bad version of yourself. You're becoming a different version of yourself where you are still going to have control. You are still in charge of your own life. And so there's not a good or a bad version of you based on the particular things you do and change about your life. It's about you at your core. And so it's like right now you're afraid of this because of the connotations you have in your head that you associate with this wound. But Spirit's here telling you now, it's like that is your fears, that's your doubts. That is not actually what's going to happen. It's actually going to be more beneficial for you to embrace this change and allow yourself to change. Because the reason you don't want to become this person is because you feel like this person is going to live a challenging, impossible life. That's not true. What I'm sensing for you, so this Page of Cups energy is who you're transforming into. The Page of Cups is someone who is the exact opposite of this King of Swords. The Page is someone who is young, who's learning, who is a little immature, but as a result of it, they can be naive because they are a dreamer, they are an optimist. They have all these ideas and nothing is impossible for them because they simply don't see the limitations. You yourself have these limitations on yourself. And I think it was because at one point of your life, you were this Page of Cups, you had this idea, and you weren't able to fully express it, you weren't able to articulate it where others could understand it. And so as a result, people really got in your way. They told you that you were either crazy or that you were stupid, you were dumb, it was never going to work, it's never going to succeed, you're not protecting yourself, what are you doing with your future, you're not thinking about it. They said all these negative things to you that made you doubt this plan, that made you think that you didn't know what you were doing. And so you got stuck in your own head and you thought, oh no, I can't do this. I am stupid for thinking this way. It is impossible. You know what? I'm going to give up on that. And now I am only going to do things that are logical, that are practical. And that's how you ended up embodying the Swords energy. But now the Swords energy has run its course. You're meant to tap more into your cups and into your emotions and your desires and your wants. And so it's like this person put all these negative thoughts in your head that weren't there to begin with. That's what Spirit wants you to know about this shadow wound, is that all these negative things that you're thinking, all these fears, you didn't have them. You were this Page of Cups. You were almost like this fool going into things blindly, being optimistic. And as a result, you would have been willing to do whatever work it took to achieve this goal with this Nine of Cups. And so what you're being told right now is that sometimes logic and life don't go hand in hand. Sometimes you really can't plan for everything. Sometimes life throws you curveballs and you have to adjust and you have to adapt. And it's like right now, the period of life that you're at, you are not able to do it. It's like you don't want to change. You don't want to adapt. It's like you think that you're a master. You think you're in control. You think that you are the one in charge of everything, which yes, you are to a certain extent. You are in control of yourself, but you are not in control of external things. And to think that you are is just as naive as this Page of Cups. And so all you did was change what you were naive about. But you're not actually any different from this person or this person as a whole. Like I said in the beginning of this reading, you are still yourself. And so no matter who you are, you're going to have blind spots in life. You're going to have things that you are having to heal that you aren't aware of, and that is what shadow work is for. That is for actually learning about yourself, discovering these inner wounds. And so it's like whether you're this King of Swords or this Page of Cups, you're going to have the same amount of challenges. They're going to look like different challenges. But your life is not going to be more challenging one way or the other. And I really feel like that's what's preventing you from fully letting go and allowing this change to happen, because of your preconceived notions of what it means to let go of the logic and be more impulsive, do things based more on emotion. Now, I want to point out, this is not telling you to go from someone who has this logic and completely throw everything out the window, forget everything about logic, and only be impulsive and be reckless and be stupid with your decisions. You're being told right now that you're changing, and in turn with changing, you're still holding on to the knowledge from this King of Swords. You are still retaining that information, but you are loosening your death grip on it. You are allowing yourself to open up to the more relaxed ideas, the less planned ideas, and more allowing yourself to do things that others deem as a little naive or impossible, and realize that it's not impossible. Because with this Two of Wands here, you had action, you had a plan, you were moving forward. Others might not have seen it, they might not have understood it. Doesn't mean it wasn't there. You have let people gaslight you and convince you that you didn't have a plan, but you did. The plan might have seemed far-fetched, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't have done it. You could have been the one to do it. And so when it comes to this inner wound that you have, I feel like you have to let go of thinking of this part of yourself as a bad part and thinking that making decisions based on your emotions is bad, because sometimes that's what's needed. You have this Nine of Cups here. You have these things you want to do. You have these desires that you want. And if you want them, they're worth pursuing. They're worth working towards. And maybe all of them aren't going to come true. Maybe some of them are impossible. But that doesn't mean all of them are. And so it's like, you really don't know if you're going to get it or not until you take that chance. And so it's like, you need to take more of a risk on yourself. You have to allow yourself to go for things that you normally wouldn't, and allow yourself to push out of your comfort zone. Because right now you're keeping yourself trapped in this mindset. And you're not going to ever be able to get these things, because it's like, here you have the world. Everything that you want right now, only living your life this way, has run its course. There's no more room to grow. There's no way to level up. There's no way to get the other things that you desire out of life. Because when it comes to the practical plan, you're at a wall. You're at a standstill. And I also get the sense that with this Two of Cups reversed, this can be indicating this is the person who kind of talked you out of being this Page of Cups energy and made you feel like this was impossible, like you couldn't do it. But I also feel like for some of you, and you're going to know that this is resonating because this is part of the thing that scares you. I feel like for some of you, this Two of Cups reversed is indicating that the person you're keeping in your life for the logical reasons, for the practical reasons, is not meant to be in your life. And emotionally, you know that. Emotionally, you're feeling this lack of fulfillment from them. You're not feeling that emotional connection. But you think either because it's been such a long amount of time, or because you feel like this person brings the things that you want out of life into your life, that you feel like you would be stupid to let this person go, or you would be stupid to cut this person out of your life. But as you're being told right now, you have the World card. Subconsciously, you know that this is not going anywhere, that it's not bringing that emotional fulfillment. But it's like you're afraid to have that emotional fulfillment for fear of letting go of what others deem as responsible and what others deem as practical. As I said, you have to live life with a balance. You can't do everything that your emotions want 100% of the time. It's because sometimes emotionals, they're overwhelmed. They don't seek that ration, and they're not doing things that are actually better for us. But sometimes our emotions are guiding us. Emotions are heavily linked with our intuition. And so sometimes your gut feeling is telling you, hey, this situation's not good for you. And so sometimes, you know, something that's practical for us isn't always better for us. Sometimes the riskier option is what is actually needed in order to change the directory of our life and our course so that we can actually get more out of life. And I feel like those of you who are watching this is more so going to be something that you have to actively work to heal. You have to actively push yourself out of your comfort zone. But I also feel like you really just need to take a moment, and when you do shadow work, try and do it in a time when you're alone, where you can really feel all your different emotions. This way, if you want to cry or scream or whatever, you have the space to do it without the judgment of others. And so what I would recommend for you is take a moment to yourself and write a list of everything that scares you. And try and figure out why it scares you. If it's something where it is fear-based, if it's something that is based on something that others have told you, if it is something that you were always afraid of, or if it was something that developed, and if you can track the root of where that was developed from. And then I want you to take a moment after you do all this. Maybe it's the same day, maybe you do this at a later date. Take a time where you're in the right headspace to look at it objectively and ask yourself, what are things that you want to do off that list? Like, what are the things that scare you that you actually do not have a desire to do one way or the other, versus what you actually want to do, but that you don't allow yourself to do? And so once you come up with that list of the things that you actually want to do, but don't do because you're afraid to, look at your reasons for not doing them. And you can take it one fear at a time, but really look at your reasons for not doing them and see if it's worth holding yourself back from the potentially good outcome of it. Because I really feel like it's going to be something that you had to take this time with yourself, write it on paper, really call yourself out and your subconscious out for why you're not doing it, and see it for yourself in order for you to realize that is stupid. I should not be living my life in fear for this reason. I really feel like this is something where it's like you are in the point of your life where you're transforming your life and it's fear holding you back. But it's like the way to realize that it's fear is going to be, again, by going through it, observing it for yourself. This is how you learn. This Page of Swords is how you learn. That's why it was so easy for you to become this King of Swords, because it's like the natural progression of things. But again, it's like now you're hitting that wall. And so I know that it's like when it comes to your shadow work reading right now, it's less to do with analyzing the reasoning behind it, and it's more to do with what steps you can take to work on this. So like I said, really take time to sit with yourself, figure out the root of why you will and won't do things, and then figure out what you actually want, and then work towards actually doing them. Even though it's scary, work towards breaking down those fears and going towards these desires. Because the more you get in sync with your emotions and actually working towards what brings you fulfillment, you're going to see that other doors are opening up. This World card is going to disappear. And so it's like, you don't have to be afraid to live this next chapter of your life because you're afraid of who this person is or what it represents for you, because you're still you. You're not a bad person. And Spirit right now wants me to use an example to explain this idea a little bit further. So this might not apply to you directly. It's just an example so that you can understand it better. But basically, it's like, I feel like at one point, maybe you wanted to get tattoos, or you wanted to get a lot of piercings, or you wanted to change your appearance to, really express yourself more. Or maybe some of you wanted to actually be like a tattoo artist, but it's like you didn't do it because maybe there were people in your life who thought that it was taboo. They thought that you weren't going to be able to get a job somewhere. They thought that you wouldn't be able to do these more practical things out of life, or they felt that your career wouldn't be able to provide the amount of money that they wanted you to have because of their own negative beliefs about these things that you wanted to do. And so as a result, they kind of scared you away from doing these things that made you express yourself and find this emotional fulfillment. And instead, you became this Page of Swords, you became this King of Swords, where you were doing things that were more practical, maybe brought in more finances, more stability, but didn't actually bring in emotional fulfillment. And that's where you're getting this World card now. That's why you're hitting that wall, because these things that you're doing, yes, they're providing a good foundation for life, but once you build that foundation, you got to build the house. You can't build that house and make it a home without that emotional stability. You have to have the emotional support, the emotional fulfillment to make your life feel genuine and make it feel authentic. And so that's why, maybe the person in your life who made you feel this way, you really need to maybe distance yourself from them, or you need to put them in their place and be like, you know what, I'm going to lean into these fears. And if you end up being right, great for you. You can get a cookie, you can get whatever you want, but at least now I know that I'm living my life for me and I'm not living my life out of fear. And if they're wrong, then you get to prove them wrong. Then you get to say, I understand where you were coming from, but my life is for me, and I actually was able to get this stability and this foundation by doing the things that I want. And so it's like, the two don't always have to be separate things. They can go hand in hand. That's why you're taking your knowledge from this and using it as you become this person. Like, now you have that foundation. So it's not about being one or the other. It's about being you. And it's like right now you're afraid to fully be yourself because others don't like it, because others don't agree. And that's where Spirit's really calling you out right now. And so I'm really hoping that this resonates for you. I hope that you take this advice to heart and you actually allow yourself to work through these fears, because I understand where your mindset is coming from, but it really is all in your head, and there's so much potential for you if you tap into this energy. So don't be afraid of it. Really start to work on breaking it down. And so again, I hope this resonates for you. If it does, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. Also give this video a big thumbs up and share with others who need to see it. If you want to get your own private reading, I do sell them. You can check out my Etsy shop, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. Everything's going to be linked in the description box down below. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. I would love to have you here, and turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post my next video. I post multiple videos videos every week, and I'm gonna have more videos for you to watch next, linked in the cards above, and I can't wait to see you all in my next video. I hope you have a good one. Bye. So for those of you who chose the moon for your cards, you have the moon, King of Wands, Four of Wands, Temperance, Eight of Swords, the Empress, Ten of Cups reversed, and Queen of Pentacles. So I'm going to take a moment to rearrange these cards so you can see them a bit better. So the thing about the moon card, you were drawn to it, and the moon literally represents your shadow. And so I think you were drawn to understand your shadow and your shadow side. And I think it really has to do a lot with your emotions. I also feel like when it comes to your astrology chart or your birth chart, look at your moon placement, see what zodiac sign it's in, and see how that affects you. Learn a little bit more about that. I think by doing that, you're going to learn to understand yourself a bit better, because you're so much more than just your sun sign. And so I think if you look at your moon, that is really how your emotions are expressed. And I think that's something that you would benefit from learning from, and see how things affect you emotionally. I also get the sense your inner wound right now, when it comes to your shadow side, is this feeling like you were not properly taken care of in the past emotionally, feeling like you had the world's back and no one else had your back. And so as a result of that, you might have rushed into things to bring you love, to bring you comfort, to bring you this stability that weren't actually that good for you, but made you feel like you were loved and like you were validated. Because I get the sense like this King of Wands here is this energy of like being this King of Wands, being in control, having a lot of passion for things, but also having a great sense of pride and a sense of being undeserving of things, of wondering if you're an imposter, of wondering if you're actually the smartest person in the room. And so it's like, think of Simba from The Lion King, how because of that incident where Scar got in his head, he took the responsibility for things that really were not in his control, but he blamed himself for it. And so then all this fear and doubt crept in because he was wondering if he's really worthy of things. And so I think for you, it's like, here you are, you're this King of Wands, you take responsibility for things, and that can be a great thing, but sometimes you take responsibility for too many things where you feel like you were really not deserving of them. You have this Eight of Swords here, which is a feeling of being trapped, a sense of being stuck, stifled, having all of these things going wrong around you, and being powerless, not having the ability to do anything about it. In actuality, you have the ability to take the blindfold off. You have the ability to see through what is blinding you and actually make choices that it's like, you know what? This is not my fault. Like, I'm taking control of what I can, and outside things are not my fault. But you right now, you're taking too much responsibility for things. You're taking on too much emotionally. Some of you could be empaths, and so you take on others' emotions when you really don't need to. You actually really need to learn how to protect yourself and shield yourself from others' energy, because it's great to be able to sense others' energy and empathize with them. But you have to have clear boundaries where you're not taking on their problems as your own, because you're not responsible for anyone else's problems. You're responsible for your own problems. And so you might feel like this king, you might feel like this leader, but emotionally, you are not in control of everyone. And I feel like for some of you, with this Empress card here, it's almost like you had to step up to the role of being a parent, either for yourself or for maybe your siblings, maybe your friends, maybe they didn't have the best home life, but it's like there was a parental figure in your life that you felt you could not go to, that they did not have your back. And so in turn, you learn how to become this king. You learn to become this leader, this empress, this emperor energy, where it's like you were in control of things. And so as a result, it's like others look to you for advice. They look to you for help, for guidance. But the thing that you don't understand is like you sacrifice so much of maybe your childhood or of your own wants, your own desires to take care of everyone else. And it's like now you're at a point in your life where you still are sacrificing so much and doing so much for others that you need balance. And I feel like if you don't create balance, this is going to break, because you're realizing that, like, yes, you love the people in your life and like you want to take care of them. You want to help people because it's like you don't want people to go through what you went through. So because you didn't feel like you had people that had your back, you don't want others to feel that way. So I understand where your mindset is coming from, but you also need to allow yourself to embrace that inner child that never got to fully live, that never got to fully be a child. You have to embrace that energy and find balance in your life to embody that energy again, because otherwise you're going to be lacking fulfillment in your life. You truly are this Queen of Pentacles here. You could have a lot of pentacle energy in your chart, so that's earth signs, so that is Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. But if not, it's like that Queen of Pentacles represents you. I'm getting a lot of feminine energy needing to come into your life. Because it's like you are this King of Wands, so you're more in the masculine energy. Now everyone has feminine and they have masculine energy. The masculine energy is more of an action. It is more of going for things, doing things, and actually like having the structure to your life. The feminine energy is more of your emotions, and it's more about being in flow with life and doing things based more on what you feel in the moment, less planning, less structure. And so it's like your whole life, because you had to be this leader, it's like you were in this masculine energy. You know, you were looking at things, taking control, doing them a certain way, trying to fit things in your life that made sense, that you could do, that you could achieve, and trying to find ways to take action to achieve everything you needed to. Now you're being told, still have plans, still have some structure, but the structure is not the only thing that matters. Now you got to take care of yourself emotionally. Now you got to make up for that child in you who never got to fully experience being a child. It's like that's that inner child wound right now that is really vulnerable and really needs some healing. I also feel some of you, because you never got to truly feel like yourself, like you could express yourself, like you had the support, you seek to love and validation from people in your life who weren't the best for you. Some of you, I feel like you could have rushed into marriage or having kids with people. And you're being told now, like, you got to forgive yourself for doing that. Even though it didn't end up the way you wanted it to end up, because I do sense some of you, it's like you realized it, you broke up with that person, or you went through a divorce, or you're currently in that process. It's like you have to forgive yourself for that period of your life where you were trying to do what was best for you. You have to forgive yourself for not knowing any better, because you didn't have the tools to know better. Like, yeah, you were seeking validation and love and support and compassion. And yeah, maybe the person you chose to seek it from was manipulating you, but it's like, you had no way to know that because you had never experienced that manipulation before, but also because you were trying to find something that you didn't yet have. And so of course, when you think you find it, you're going to miss the warning signs. And especially a lot of you, I feel like you were very young when this happened. So it's like, you cannot beat yourself up for something that was literally a learning experience. Like, you had no way to prevent that from happening. And I feel like a lot of you, it's like you carry this guilt, this shame, this regret within yourself for going through this. But it's like there was no other way for you to have protected yourself. You did everything that was in your power. Sometimes you can try your best and it doesn't work, and that's okay. Like, you accept it for what it is, but you can't continue to harp on it. You can't continue to beat yourself up about it, because that's not allowing you to heal. That's not allowing you to grow. And again, I really feel like Spirit wants you to understand, it's like you did the best with what you had for your own information at the time. And I also get the sense some of you have a hard time letting go and allowing yourself to embrace your inner child, because you are so afraid of making mistakes when you do so. Especially those of you where it's like you went through a phase of your life where you felt like you overcorrected and you felt like you made bad mistakes, things that weren't good for you as a result of trying to embrace that inner child again. But what you need to understand is that now you have a lot more knowledge. Now you're a lot wiser. Now you can have balance where you're indulging your inner child, but you're also learning, like, hey, from my past experience, this did not go so well, so I'm not going to repeat the same things. But it's like, don't be afraid to listen to your own emotions now, your own wants, your own needs. And maybe not put everyone first. Maybe don't put everyone before you. Because it's like, Yeah, you have your own responsibilities in life now. You can still have responsibilities, but you can do it in a way where you also bring this balance into life, where it's not always about others. It's not always about being this leader. Sometimes it's about saying, you know what? I am not this leader right now. I'm this Queen of Pentacles. I'm still in control of my life. I'm still a leader, but I'm just not the one who has to take the action. I can be a leader by stepping back and letting things play out for a little bit. And so it's like you're still in control, but you don't have to be doing everything yourself. And the people in your life who are relying on you, that you have responsibilities for, remember, they also have some level of responsibility for themselves. And so you don't owe it to them to sacrifice your own happiness for them anymore. You've done it for so long, and you've done it for long enough. And I think that some of you use it as a crutch. You use it as an excuse to not live your life. When these people, they love you, they support you, they want you to live your life. And so you're kind of doing a disservice to them by blaming them for the reason why you're not happy with your life. You're this empress. You're meant to create. You're meant to have fun. You are meant to find this balance so that you're this leader, but you're this leader in a way that's beneficial for everyone, not just for others' sake. And so like I really said, I feel like when it comes to this shadow inner wound that you have, really pay attention to your moon sign, do some research into that, but also figure out some ways to bring some more fun into your life. Forgive yourself for your past mistakes. Accept that you literally did not know better. And so it's like you have to no longer have regret for that, because you can't go back, you can't change it, but you can learn from it, and you have learned from it. You can't ask anything more than that. Otherwise, you're always going to be picking at this wound. It's never going to heal. And so you have to learn how to forgive yourself, and you also have to learn how to bring balance into your life, where you allow yourself this grace and this time to embody this kid-like energy. Have fun. If you fail again, you will pick yourself back up. Kids are resilient. And if you were able to fully embrace your inner child while you were growing up, you would have learned this. But when you fall down, you can pick yourself back up again. And a lot of the times, the fear, the shame, the guilt we feel for falling down, others aren't placing that on us. They're looking to help us. They want to pick you back up again. And so it's like you're so afraid of falling down and being this big failure. But the people who truly love and care about you are not going to look at you like that. They're going to see that you're strong, that you're tough, that yes, you fell down, maybe you failed, but you are picking yourself back up because you're resilient. And so don't put this impossible pressure on yourself anymore. You really have to remove it in order to fully be happy with your life. And so I'm really sending you all so much love and light as you're going through this. It's not easy, but it's definitely something that you can work on. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and share with others who need to hear it. If you need me to re-explain anything, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please hit subscribe. Please turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post my next video. I post multiple videos every week, and I'm going to have more videos linked in the cards above for you to watch next. If you want to get your own private reading, I do sell them. You can check out my Etsy shop, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. Everything's linked in the description box down below, and I can't wait to see you all in my next video. I hope you have a good one. Bye. So those of you who chose the Knight of Swords for your cards, you have the Knight of Swords, Eight of Wands, Five of Cups, Knight of Cups, King of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, the Fool, and Six of Pentacles reversed. So I'm going to take a moment to move these cards around so you can see them a bit better. So what I'm sensing for you is you get so discouraged when you have to rely on other people, when you have to accept help, when you need offers from people. And I think it stems from this place of wanting to provide for yourself, wanting to provide for your family. And like when you get something in your head, it's like you stick with it. Since you have a stubborn energy. And I think as a result of this, it's like you get so stuck on needing to prove your worth, on proving your value, on doing things yourself, that you will create more issues. Not taking advice, not listening to others, not letting others help you, not asking for help, not doing anything with others. You rather do things for a longer amount of time and make things more difficult for yourself, but do it independently rather than ask for help. And it could have been that there wasn't anyone to help you in the past, and so you had to learn how to do things yourself because help wasn't coming, and so there was no other option for you. You had to make it work with what you had. But the thing is, you're not in that same place of your life right now. And so it's like there's a block when it comes to actually allowing you to receive offers from people and in turn receive offers from the universe. You think that anytime someone's offering something, you gotta run from it with this Eight of Wands here because you think there's a catch, you think it's gonna hurt you, you think that something is going to go wrong. And so it's like you have this negative outlook on things that are coming into your life that are meant to make your life easier. And you see it as a challenge, as an obstacle, as something to get away from. You're creating more challenges in your life because you're looking at everything besides yourself as the enemy. And so I think there's this inner wound where you are constantly running. You are constantly moving on. Some of you could have commitment issues because allowing others to help you, allowing yourself to be vulnerable with them like that is foreign to you. It's like you always relied on yourself. And so when it comes to opening up to another person, it's very difficult for you. And I think sometimes when you let people try and help you, a lot of you are so stubborn that you're looking at them like, what is this? Does this help? This isn't help. This isn't what I wanted. And sometimes the thing is, like, people can't help you in the way you need them to all the time, but people are trying their best to offer some help. And so when you look at people who are trying to help you and you make them feel bad about helping you, or like it's not even that helpful, it's creating some tension in this relationship because they're trying their best and you're not acknowledging the thought behind it. Even if they can't help you how you would ideally want them to help, the fact they're trying to be genuine doesn't need to be ridiculed. I think some of you have a tendency to be mean and callous and sometimes cruel, and it's not necessarily intentional, but it's because you have this wall around you where you really feel like it's you against everyone. And so you come off a little bit rough around the edges. And that can rub people the wrong way because there are people in your life who want to offer you things. You have this Knight of Cups. So you have this Knight of Cups in your life who's trying to give you things, offer you things, trying to help you out. You're not allowing them to. And so when it comes to this inner wound that you have, one of the ways you can heal it is by being mindful about the effort that someone is putting into things. Because I think you have to actually acknowledge the fact that while you can think it's you against the world, if there's bad people, there's also good people. And for you to assume everyone is a bad person or that everyone's trying to hurt you or sabotage you, that's not true. And so you really need to sit and be like, okay, this person offered XYZ. What's the thought behind it? And show them genuine appreciation for their thought. I also get the sense some of you actually need to sit with yourself and see how your stubbornness is affecting you, what this person's offering, and don't take it at the surface level. Look at what they are actually offering for being in your life, what they're actually offering you with the thing that they are presenting to you, and see if there's something you're overlooking because it's not a clear, direct answer that you wanted, or it's not a clear, direct item that you can use. Because sometimes when it comes to your stubbornness, you have a one-way mind of thinking. Whatever they're offering isn't necessarily unuseful. It's just not what you were wanting to use. So sit with yourself before you react, before you say no, before you discourage them and discourage yourself. Allow yourself to actually be mindful and think of the different ways that you could utilize what they're offering you. See if there's a way it could benefit you in a way that you hadn't thought of before. Because the way to break this mindset is to consciously create mindful thoughts to teach yourself that your mindset is not the only mindset, to allow you to open up your perspective and see things in a different way. And this is also going to give you an opportunity to start to use others more and utilize how they are trying to help you, utilize how the universe is trying to help you. Because a way to stop being so stubborn and think that you are the only one who's protecting yourself is by allowing people to show you how they're trying to help you, and then seeing how it does help you. And this way you can show yourself that you're wrong. And on the off chance that you're not wrong, all you'll be doing is proving to yourself something you already thought. But I really don't think that's likely here. I think the people who are actually trying to help you are genuine. And it's because of your past that you are not able to see it, or you're afraid to see it because you're afraid of being let down. You're afraid of that disappointment. That's where I was saying in the beginning of this reading that you get discouraged easily because it's like you're afraid of being hurt. And so it's easier to run and pretend that everything is scary rather than turn around, catch something, think that it's going to help you, and then have it turn around and hurt you. And so it's like, this is from past fears, but if you allow yourself to stop, make the conscious choice to stop, you're going to see that things are a lot more useful to you because you're going to be creating this balance in your life with the Two of Pentacles here, and that is really what's lacking right now. You're lacking that balance. And then you also have the Six of Pentacles reversed. So the Six of Pentacles is an energy about give and take, and so when it's reversed, it's showing me that things are one-sided. And so right now things are one-sided because you're not allowing people to give to you. You're not allowing yourself to accept opportunities. You're not allowing yourself to rely on others. And then you have the Fool here. He's on his hind legs offering the rose to the world. And when it comes to this inner wound, there is a level of faith and trust you have to have with accepting that whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And running from it isn't going to prevent it from happening. Basically, take a moment and actually sit with yourself and be like, okay, this person, let's say they are hurting me. Is this specific thing they're offering to me going to be what hurts me? Or is this not going to matter and they would hurt me emotionally or in a different type of way? And actually sit with yourself and be like, you know what? Even if I accept this offer, is there any way it's going to harm me? Or is it just going to benefit me? The person themselves, maybe something happens down the line, maybe they hurt me, but does accepting what they're offering change that in any way? And be honest with yourself. If the answer is yes, you're apprehensive about the person, you don't want to trust them, you don't have to. But if the answer is no, why wouldn't you utilize them? Because you're not winning any prizes for not accepting help. You're not winning any prizes for doing things completely by yourself, not listening to others, not asking others for help. Like, there's no prize for that. Yes, maybe it can create a better story later on if you're sharing your experience with someone, if you want to say you're 100% self-made. But self-made doesn't mean that you don't accept help when it's being given. Self-made means that you do the hard work. You can still do the hard work and accept help from people who genuinely want to help you out because they're helping you out because they believe in you. So you're still making it for yourself. And so you got to get out of your head when it comes to this whole situation, because this inner wound is something that has affected you. It's kept you jaded. You got to work on that. You got to heal that. You got to take responsibility for that and accept that you look for the worst in people because you expect that out of them. And that's why it's very easy for you to get discouraged as well, because it's like, on some level, when you're looking for the bad in others, you're looking for the bad in yourself. You discredit yourself. You discourage yourself. I also think a part of you doesn't want to accept help, doesn't want to make things easier for yourself, because there's a part of you that doesn't believe you're deserving of the help, or there's a part of you that doesn't feel like you are worthy of getting the rewards for this goal that you're manifesting. And so it's like you're trying to make it more difficult because you don't believe you can achieve it. It's kind of like when there's a situation going down where we know the truth, but we don't want to accept the truth, so we're living in limbo because we're afraid of getting an answer we don't like. And so it's like when it comes to this goal that you're working towards as this Knight of Swords, it's like you rather keep things challenging, you rather make it more difficult for yourself. So when people ask you what's going on, you can tell them the situation, you can have all these excuses why it hasn't worked out yet, or why you're not at this level you want to be at yet. Versus, if you accept help, if you don't have as many challenges, and you get to that finish line, and it turns out it didn't work out, you're not where you thought you would be, there's no more excuses. There's nothing to blame it on. And you're going to put the blame on yourself. But in actuality, let's say that happens, let's say the worst happens, and you accept help, you do everything how you think it's going to work, and it doesn't work. That doesn't mean that you yourself are not worthy of it. All it means is that your plan was not thought out correctly. There was miscalculations. There's things you need to go and you need to rework. There's things that you need to adjust within the plan. But you can try again. You can pick yourself back up. And so there's this level of discouragement of your own self, of your own efforts, and a lack of accountability within yourself, and a need to blame others, blame the world, and push things off of yourself. And so I think that when it comes to healing this wound within yourself, you have to find a way to stop this cycle of excuses and making things more difficult for yourself, and actually prepare yourself for taking accountability and be like, you know what? I'm going to do this, and this is the result I'm trying to get. If I don't get that result, then I need to readjust. I need to recalculate. But now at least you have your eyes open. You're this predator. You're on the lookout. You're protecting yourself. You're protecting your vision. Rather than continuing to work and work and work, not getting anywhere, being dissatisfied with your life, and not doing anything about it because you're too afraid to accept defeat and to start over. I really feel like you have a lot of different layers going on that is leading to the same outcome of not feeling deserving of things. And so it's manifesting in these different ways, and it's affecting your long-term goals. And so you really need to start to allow yourself to accept things and allow yourself to feel more love and believe in your own self, where you stop discouraging yourself. Because if you don't heal this internally, your relationship within yourself and what you are deserving of, you're never going to be able to accept the full amount of help and support the universe is trying to provide for you, because you're going to end up feeling like an imposter. You're going to get imposter syndrome. And so I feel like it's really important for you at this time to address these things on why you can't accept help, but then also look at yourself and work on how you treat yourself, how you speak to yourself, and the things that you do for yourself to make you start to love yourself more. Because if you start to love yourself more, then you are going to believe that others can love you and accept you. And then there's going to be less of a disconnect. Whereas if you try and start with having others love you first, that's not going to heal anything internally. You have to heal it internally first. Then you can work on the aspect that is revealed to the world. Don't do it the other way around. Otherwise, again, you're going to be making things more difficult for yourself and doing them in a way that is not as beneficial to you. And I feel like Spirit really wanted me to call you out for that, because I feel like some of you were thinking that you can find love and validation through other people, but you can't do that. That's not doing the actual work. That's surface level. That's pretending like you're addressing the issue when you're not. That's exactly what you're doing with everything else in life. It's like you're trying to make it harder and not actually have to take accountability for it, not actually have to do the actual hard work. It's like you're constantly doing things over and over, trying to make it succeed, but you're working on the things that don't matter. You need to start focusing on things that are important, that matter, that actually lead to the long-term goals that you want, and start working on yourself in order to feel worthy and deserving. I feel like a really good thing for you to start doing now is also to start embracing things, not allowing yourself to see them in a negative light, but just see them as something neutral, where you don't know how it's going to go. So let's see what's going to happen and go from there. And by starting to take the pressure off of things, where you're just seeing them as neutral, there's no room for things to disappoint. And so it's taking that pressure off of you. And so I hope that this brought things to your awareness. I hope this is really helping you. And if it resonates, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. Also give this video a big thumbs up and share with others who need to hear it. If you want to get your own private reading, I do sell them. You can check out my Etsy shop, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. Everything's going to be linked in the description box down below. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. I would love to have you here, and turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post my next video. I post multiple videos every week, and I'm going to have more videos for you to watch next, linked in the cards above. And I can't wait to see you all in my next video. I hope you have a good one. Bye.